Okay, let me just kick you a couple of injuries here. So Sammy strained his groin just a bit, and we held him out today. And then Alex Brown tore his ACL yesterday, and obviously he didn't practice. Antonio Hamilton, slight groin strain. Darius Harris was excused. Lavert Hill, again, had a strain, hamstring. And then flip it over here real quick. Fish had a concussion, so he's in the protocol now. With that, it's good to get out here and to work and get our practice in. We've had a couple, 3 days here with pads on and a ramp up period. Each day was a little different time than the next, and just increasing it as we go to our normal time. So anyways, I'm pleased with the attitude and the work and how they've gone about their business. And it's a great challenge, offense and defense. The ones get to compete a lot against each other, and that does nothing but make each side better. And then the twos likewise get to compete against the twos. And again, that's great competition there too. So anyways, time's yours on this.
Go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, how you doing?
Great, thank you, Adam.
First, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was there today, obviously, but didn't do much. What's going on with him, number one? Number two, it was that throw that Pat made toward the end of practice in the 7-on-7 when he was kind of drifting to his left and threw Dieter in the end zone. I mean, that's pretty impressive stuff. Do you still think that way? Do you ever stop and catch yourself going, wow, that's a pretty impressive throw when he does those kinds of things? Or have you seen it enough from him now where you kind of maybe immune to it a little bit?
No, I don't. I appreciate the his talents, and I remind the coaches of that often, that just doesn't happen all the time with every quarterback. So, but he makes it look easy and does it time after time. So, but you don't ever get satisfied or complacent with those. You enjoy each one of them. As far as Clyde was a bit dehydrated, so we just held him out a little bit.
Let's go to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. Thanks for the time here.
Yes.
Kind of a housekeeping thing, but Chad Henne's taken, it looks like, almost all the snaps with the twos. I'm just wondering, I know you're comfortable with both those guys, but what, at least at this moment, is kind of separating those?
Yeah, Chad is the number two, so we want to make sure we get him enough rep. This is what we're in a time period now, kind of a time crunch with the way the ramp up is set. So you want to make sure the guys get enough reps in there to, within that time constraint. So the threes get shortchanged just a little bit.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, good to see you.
Hi, Nate.
Two questions for you. With understanding, because of the time crunch, how much have you feared that you guys have seen from Clyde that you kind of have an idea of what you want to work on moving forward as you have more padded practices? And within that, because of the situation going on right now with the secondary, the amount of injuries you guys have had, just what are your thoughts of how that group has looked so far, particularly guys like Tedrick Thompson, Armani Watts, and Dan Sorensen, given where Juan Thornhill is in his sort of rehab right now? Yeah,
so I think it's been great for those guys. Continuity is important back there, opportunities to play with one another. I think both groups are doing well, and it's given us a chance to look at some of the twos in there. So, and really some of the threes. We had a lot of numbers there at that position, so secondary position. So we were good. What was your first question?
Just now with
you guys are learning how to use this thing. You throw about 3 fastballs at me. That's right. I get it.
Yeah, we're trying to get through it all, Andy, with you here. The other one was with, seeing Clyde for 2 padded practices now. Just what do you want to get out of him as you get through the rest of the padded practices? Do you have a better idea of what you want to work on now that you've seen something more, resembling football?
Yeah, no, I think he's doing a good job. He just needs reps and continue to practice. So that becomes important for him. Practice time is important for him.
Let's go to Hervey. Go ahead, Hervey.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned some stuff there. I'm going to go on the offensive side. You seem to have a spirited battle there with Derek Jeter as well as Jody Fortson. What are you seeing out of them at this camp, especially with Jody Fortson?
Yeah, listen, he feels more comfortable out there, and he's learning. Dieter has every position down and knows them all. Not that they're in competition necessarily, but they're all just trying to do the best they can do. So, and listen, we're getting good work out of them, great reps to get on tape so we can evaluate them. And so Jody, this is new as of last year for him. And we started him off as a tight end, if you remember. And now we've moved him out to wide receiver. So this is every rep, again, is a great rep for him.
Let's go to Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy. Last year, Patrick, after his first season as the full-time starter, wins the MVP, and then really seemed to take his off season in a whole new direction in terms of just working all the harder and developing more. And I'm curious what you've seen in him that way this off season. Clearly, he's just further invigorated, I think. But what ways have you seen him do that?
Yeah, I thought he attacked the offseason aggressively. He was on every Zoom meeting we had, asked great questions, which he normally does. Wants to know everything, wants you to feed him new plays, and wants to continue to grow. And that's about all you can ask. Every opportunity he had to throw, he got his guys together and they threw. And so, my hat goes off to him on the way he's approached it.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Thanks, Coach, as always. Just curious about Clyde. It might be too early to tell, and I know he was limited today, but I was wondering what you and Eric Bieniemy think about him when it comes to pass protection so far early in camp.
Yeah, you know what? He's a real smart kid, so he's picking it up, and he wants to be good. So that's a good combination to have, and he has the talent to go with it. He's strong. He's short, but he's strong, and so he gets himself in good position with his quickness and his leverage, and does a good job with protection. He has a pretty good base of what's going on with it and who's coming and who the offensive line has and his responsibilities. So, but listen, reps will continue to help that.
Let's go to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Excuse me, Coach. Thank you very much for the time. First of all, can you talk a little bit about, you've talked about how Mahomes has worked and things. I know you've been in the league a long time, but how do you work differently? How do you try to grow and call in things for Patrick? Is it putting more on his plate? Is it, is there a process to you that you kind of do a checklist in the off season on how you're working? And then like everyone else, my other side of that is if you could comment, Eric Bieniemy kind of stole the show yesterday. He called Patrick Mahomes a quote, competitive prick. And then you explain what he meant by that. Just your reaction to that way to frame it. I thought it was perfect, in getting his point across as to what he was saying, but just your reaction to kind of, how he labeled that.
Yeah, well, we get to see it every day. We get to see how competitive he is. It's something that the fans only get to see on game days. We get to see it every day, and he keeps practice alive, challenges the defense, and it really makes everybody around him better just by his attitude and how he goes about it. And so I think if you talk to people, he probably competes at everything he does. As far as myself, listen, we always try to grow, and I'm lucky enough to have the Eric Bieniemys and Greg Lewis's and Mike Kafka, Tom, all these guys, Joe Blameyer, these guys, Dylan McCullough, they're all in it to grow. And so I love that part of it. And so they're always bringing ideas to the table. And even though we were doing it over Zoom, we were, or WebEx, we were able to grow and kind of do it together. And I love that. I mean, that's the fun part of this thing, and bouncing ideas off of each other.
Let's go to Nick Jacobs. Go ahead, Nick.
Andy, my question for you is, given that you don't have preseason games, what are you having to adjust differently so you can get some of those answers on the final players for roster spots?
Yeah. So we're trying to practice them and let them go. And we try to keep it as fast as you can so you get some form of evaluation of the guys. And And then you got to shoot. Yeah, you don't have that game part of it, but you're not going to be able to get that either. But you know how we do practices and how fast we go, and so you see how guys compete, and there's enough competition on both sides that it should draw the best out of you. If you're willing for it to do that, and so that becomes important. And then we do it day in and day out. I mean, these guys, they're going on their third day of pads, and they've got a 10-10-10 tomorrow, and they're working, and so you get an idea, a pretty good idea, I think, when we're all said and done here of what you got.
All right, guys, we got time for a couple more. Let's go Breeland and then Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Breeland.
Good morning, Andy. I just kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit on Alex Smith. We all know that he is cleared now to play football, and I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that miraculous journey that he's taken.
Yeah, how great is that, man? I'm so happy for him. I know how he is. He's dirty tough, and he loves playing the game. He didn't want it to end the way it ended with the leg, and so now he's back. And we all saw I guess it was 30-30, whatever it was, the 30-30-60, the special on him. He did in the rehab that he went through, that day in and day out grind of the rehab. So I'm happy for him. I'm very, very happy for him. I'm happy for the Washington team too. To have him.
Let's go to Matt Derrick to finish it off. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. I know you've got a lot of guys right now that are nursing some groin, hamstring injuries. Not sure that's a big surprise out of the off season. How are you and the training staff working on just dealing with some of those soft tissue injuries to make sure you're not pushing guys too hard? And also, any clarification on Derek Noddy, because I'm not sure he's worked in pads yet.
Yeah, so Derek had the ankle, so we're just kind of easing him back in. The soft tissues are the same as it is every year. You get into that third and fourth practice, and guys are sore, normally in the groin area. That's how it works. And so, that's what we're still dealing with that now, and it's right about the same number as we have every year. So it hasn't been anything crazy.
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Hey, a couple things. First, a number of impressive throws by you today. I love the one personally, the one you were in the 7-on-7 toward the end of practice where you kind of flipped it to Derek Dieter. Kind of you were moving to your left, couldn't step in it. You just kind of snapped your wrist. When you just go through the video and you see those kinds of things, you stop to say, wow, that was pretty cool, or you just are you kind of immune to those things now? Number one. Number two, Alex Smith, as you know, has been cleared to practice again. What that kind of means to you to see him back and playing football again?
Yeah, to answer your first question, I think the great thing about training camp practices and practices with Coach Reid is he allows me to try those different things. And as you kind of seen camp go, there's been times where I've made some of these throws and they've worked out and we scored touchdowns. And then I threw one day and it was like a easy interception. So he lets you try those different things and you just learn from them, see what you can and can't do. And it helps me to be in the game. When I get there, I know what I can do and what I can't. And then the second part of your question, I mean, Alex, it's an amazing thing. I talked to Alex. I texted Alex before the season, got going before training camp got going. Him just being there and being able to get cleared by his doctors, and then now getting cleared by the Washington's doctors, and being able to go out there and be able to perform. It just shows the grit that he has. And I mean, he's someone that helped me out a ton in my career, and he's always persevered. And I just expect him to keep persevering as his career goes on.
Let's go to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Patrick, two questions here for you. Your impression so far of Clyde Edwards-Helaire as he's gone through two padded practices. Obviously, he was limited today, but how much did working with him during the summer help him develop into what you're seeing now? And then lastly, Eric Bieniemy yesterday said that you were a, quote, competitive prick, end quote, obviously in a good way. But what was your reaction when you heard EB call you that?
Yeah, well, the first part of your question, I mean, Clyde, I think, has done a great job in the reps that he has gotten. I mean, he stepped in, he's learned the offense. He's not making a lot of mistakes. He's playing fast, and he has an incredible vision. I think that's what's been the biggest thing so far. The way he's able to run the ball, find the lanes of running in, and catch out of the backfield and get upfield and make plays happen. For him to be able to do that so early, it's a great sign, and he'll keep getting better and better. And then the second part with EB. I mean, it's just kind of in our nature, I think, not even just me and EB's name. We love to compete. We're fiery. We love to go out there every single rep. We act like it's the last rep that we have to win. And I think when you have a lot of guys on the team that are like that, it's when you get the best on Sunday. So I'm going to go out there and compete every single rep, and I'm going to have that fire every single time.
Let's go to James Palmer. Go ahead, James.
Hey, Patrick, curious what your take is. A lot of people around the league say you kind of want your pass catchers to be almost like a basketball team, with a variety of kind of sizes and talents. How do you feel your group fits that? And do you kind of like that moniker from the quarterback spot, that it's set up, it could be set up like that?
I think the thing that I've learned in my short career so far in the NFL is you can have all types of different types of weapons as long as you're utilizing their skill sets and maximizing those every single day. I think that it could be the basketball team. You could have the big receivers making the plays over the top. You could have the small receivers doing the stuff in the slot. But I think you see with our team, it's a lot of different guys that can do a lot of different things. And so when you have a team like we have, it's hard for defenses to nail exactly what we're doing, exactly who's running which routes, because every single person can do every single route. And I think that's what makes our offense go and makes us every single week be able to be variable and change and really be able to execute and have high success.
Let's go to Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Patrick. Just going back to that point you just made about having that fire, you won the MVP your first season as a full-time starter, and then you guys win the Super Bowl. What's prompting that? How do you still feel that you've had so much achievement early? Where does that come from?
Yeah, I think that's just the love of the game. I think when you play this sport, the best thing about it is you get to start over every single year. Every single year, no matter if you won the Super Bowl the last year, no matter if you lost an AFC Championship game, no matter if you didn't make the playoffs, you get a clean slate. You have to go out there and compete every single year. And you have to have the passion and the mindset that you're going to go out there every single day and execute every single rep so you can go out there and be on top again and be able to have those parades, be able to enjoy it with your teammates and your family and your friends. And once that you enjoy it, you come back and do it again the next year.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Pat, yesterday would have been the first preseason game. Typically, Andy would have given you a series or two and then ramped you up from there. I was curious, what do you think you might be missing without having those dress rehearsals? And then how do you plan to maybe make up for that and be ready for the Thursday night opener?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I think that you're missing is just not getting hit. So just not getting that first tackle out of the way of the season and getting up and having to go through the reps again and making plays happen. But other than that, I think our practice, how we run practices, when you have the honey badger over there yelling and screaming and firing around, flying around the field, Frank Clark doing the same, Chris Jones, we're going the best against the best right here at our practices. And I promise you we're going hard every single rep. And there's a lot of fire, a lot of passion on that field. So other than me personally not getting tackled that first tackle out of the way, I feel like I'm getting just as what I would be getting in the preseason game.
Let's go to Sam Ellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick, we know what you think of your ranking in that top 100, right? I'm curious what you think of Mitch Schwartz dropping off the list. And do you have a theory on why he seems to be sort of underrated when it comes to awards and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the position gets underrated a lot. I mean, the right tackle position just throughout history. I mean, for the guys like Lane Johnson and Mitch Schwartz that have been doing it year in and year out, Ryan Ramczyk, all those guys. I mean, I know he was on there, but they've done it year in and year out, and it had a lot of high success. And so I think with Mitch, it's crazy to not see him on that list with how clean he keeps the pocket, how he does in the run game, how he's really been a great player for a long time. But I think we understand as a group that we're going to go out there, and when you win Super Bowls, when you do these different type of things, everybody's going to get the recognition that they're going to get after their career is over. And I think that's what you'll see with Mitch is once his career is over and you look back on it, you'll see how great of a player he's been from beginning to the end of it.
All right, guys, we've got time for a few more. Let's go to Darren first. Go ahead, Darren.
Patrick, good morning to you. First off, what challenges does it pose for your offense to come up with new plays that your opponents haven't seen since you returned everyone on offense, save for Clyde? And then second, I'll be speaking with your dad a little bit later on the show. What made you decide on the gift that you got him for his birthday, and how shocked was it that when he received it?
Yeah, so the first part, I mean, I think when you have Coach Reid and these offensive coaches that we have, there's no shortage of plays. I mean, they're coming up with different plays every single day, and we're trying out everything. I think that's the best thing about training camp. The best thing about going against our defense, which is so multiple, is we're getting a lot of different looks against a lot of different plays that we haven't ran before. And so I think that's great about training camp is we're going to keep trying these plays, and if it works, we're going to put it in. If it doesn't work, we might push it to the side and try it again later on. And then with my dad, I ended up getting him the car, the Escalade, and it's just a car that he had when I was young and he was in the MLB. I remember him having a black Escalade, so I ended up getting him one for his birthday.
Let's go to Harold. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Patrick, hope you're doing well. And that's a nice gift you're giving them. Two quick questions, one on and one off the field. When it comes on the field, have you learned anything differently from the receivers that they kind of want to do different going into this season when it comes to building rhythm on the field and getting that on the practice field? And then off the field, I want to ask you about Travis Kelce. Just, his foundation and what he's doing and buying that building for inner city kids. I know you've done it. Tyreek's done it. Just what is all your conversations, guys, going to try to better the Kansas City community?
Yeah, to ask your first question one more time for me real quick.
Oh, just what have you learned differently from receivers, if anything, trying to build a rhythm on the field and getting things going?
Yeah, the first question, I think the best thing, kind of like I've been saying in training camp, is we try out a lot of different things. I think when you get those routes on air, and you get those one-on-one drills, and then when you get the reps in practice, you see how guys are running routes, how we're trying different stuff, and then we go to the sideline after and we talk about those routes, why they did this, what I was thinking, what they were thinking, and we try to get on the same page in order to, when we get in the game, we know exactly what each other's thinking, and we can really go out there and execute at a high level. And I think that how Coach Reid runs practice sets up perfect for that. And then the second part, I mean, it was awesome to see what Travis did with that building, with the Operation Breakthrough. It's crazy because I remember over a year ago he was talking about trying to buy that building. He was talking about the plan of doing that, and to see it finally go through. Obviously, he earned the contract, got the contract, and then his first thing was I make sure that he did the thing that he'd been planning on for over a year. It just shows how much he's put into this community that has given him so much. And then I feel like throughout our entire team, we try to do the same. And I think when you have leaders that do that, it brings everybody else with us. And I think Kansas City, the Chiefs have had a great history of giving back to the Kansas City community, and we're going to try to keep that going.
Let's go with Nate Taylor for the last one. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Patrick, thanks again for this. You mentioned earlier the idea of experimentation. And one thing that I've sort of noticed you doing early in practice is sort of doing a forward pitch in some passes. Just how much of that has been part of your experimentation, and how much of that do you just enjoy year after year trying to find something new that you can sort of use to the benefit of the team because Andy gives you that freedom to do it in practice?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give away all my secrets, but I mean, yeah, it's stuff that I work on and stuff that we do. I mean, I try to find ways to get the ball to the receivers, tight ends, whoever, running backs, whoever it is, the quickest way possible. And the pitch was one thing that we had kind of worked on, stuff like that. I think I saw either Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers do it in one of the games. I was watching one of those throwback games, and so with the Green Bay Packers. And so I try to look at what guys have done before me. I know I've looked at guys like Dan Marino and how he had success. And then I look at the guys that are playing around the league with Deshaun Watson and Lamar and Dak Prescott, all these guys that are having success, and I try to find what they do, and then I try to take it out and put it into my game, and so I can be a better player every single time I step on the field.
Two quick questions here for you. I'm curious for number one, how does a guy from Louisiana get dehydrated? and second, how has camp gone for you? Obviously, you were limited today, but like these past two practices and pads, how fast is it going for you? Is it slowing down for you? And how beneficial was it for you to work out with Patrick during this offseason?
Well, first to answer your first question, I mean, it's hot everywhere right now. And that's just what it is. And we're outside working. So, I can speak for myself outside working, doing whatever I can do to get fluids in. But, big output needs, huge input. So I just gotta hydrate some more. And for the most part, these last 2 days, putting on the pads, for me, it felt like everything slowed down. Just because the nature of football, everything slows down from pads just because of the contact and everything else as far as what I see from the running back position. So, and right now, that's just how it's going for me.
Let's go to Harold Coons. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, man, hope you're doing well. Drink some water, man. I heard Frank Clark, gave you a little introduction to the NFL a little bit. Could you just describe how that went? And then also, how are the veterans, like, especially with Patrick Mahomes back there, how's it helped you just kind of get along and get a good feel for the game, even without the preseason games?
Yeah. So the thing with Frank, I mean, it was 7-on-7. Frank ended up dropping back from his end position. I caught a ball in the flat, got up the sideline. Frank hit me on the sideline. I mean, nobody hit the ground. So for the most part, I mean, I'm good. I played the next play, and it is what it is. It's a hit. So, and then what was your next question afterwards? After Frank?
Yeah, just the veterans like Patrick and some of the other running backs you're with, just how they kind of helped you along, knowing that you've kind of been thrown into the fire as an RB1, if you will.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, the guy that I've always looked up to was Darryl. He was in my room at LSU, and he's also in the room with me now, and he's been in this offense. So as far as anybody that I turn to initially, it's always Darryl. And then whenever I need those, when he's not around and I need those pickups from, anybody from Sammy to Trav to Pat, even Fish on O-line, just everybody. They understand. I mean, everybody's been a rookie before, and they understand what's going on, and everybody's here for me, and everybody's here for the team. As long as I go out there, do what I need to do, and they feel like I'm calm and we're all executing, then the ball's rolling.
Go to Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Clyde, how's it going, man?
What's up? How you doing?
All right. You told us before that Andy's playbooks looked easy. Now that it's all been thrown at you full speed, do you still have the same feeling, and how quickly are you picking up everything?
As far as the concepts and everything, the biggest thing is understanding football. If you can understand football and understand positions and placement, you understand that where you need to be as far as a player and in certain plays. The biggest thing is language. Once you pick up language, everything else just kind of falls into place. So as for if everybody seemed like it was disrespectful of me to say easy. So I would say it's a playbook. It's an NFL playbook, and as long as you do the things that you need to do as far as studying and looking through it, it's not as complicated.
Let's go to Seren Petra. Go ahead, Seren.
Clyde, tell me when you get the word on Damian Williams and that comes around, like just what goes through your mind? Like what did you have? Like, because obviously it looked like it was going to be one kind of indoctrination to the NFL, and then now it is. I heard the last question you were just called RB1. Like what all went through your mind, and what kind of pressures did that put on you, and did anybody reach out to you?
As soon as I heard the news, I didn't have Damian's phone number or anything, but I wanted to get his phone number from Dylan. I sent him the text because obviously, I mean, if a guy chooses that route, is more than what meets the eye. So, and then initially from that point, I mean, I've always been a guy that felt like I just needed to be 100% tuned in from the beginning. And then I didn't have to flip a switch and feel like, oh, this is now the time. I mean, since the day I was drafted, I felt like get this playbook, start rolling, and do my job. It was never really like a shell-shocking moment for me. So for the most part, I just wanted to come in and work and do my job, do my 111th, and I'll find my way on the field.
All right, guys, we've got time for a couple more. Let's go to Nick Jacobs first. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, Clyde, for you, I'm curious, from your time at LSU, do you feel like that kind of prepared you for the tempo you've seen in practice, or has it been a little bit of an adjustment?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Leaving LSU, having, 3-hour practices, and just having the whole tempo of everything. I mean, freshman year, having guys, across from me like Devin White and Orton Key having NFL type caliber players on the defensive side of the ball, and everything is pretty much live. It tends to just be fast, and that's just what it is. So as far as coming here and making an adjustment, it was no real speed adjustment. The biggest adjustment is just understanding what you have to do and just how minute the details are, just being a professional.
Let's go to Nate Taylor for the last one. Go ahead, Nate.
Hello, Clyde. 2 questions for you. Both Patrick and Eric Bieniemy have mentioned your vision in terms of what you've been able to do so far in the 2 practices that you've had in the pads. Understanding the playbook, just what does your vision sort of give you an advantage in terms of either seeing the whole develop or adjusting in mid-play? And then secondly, playing with Joe Burrow last year, the Heisman Trophy winner, I'm sure you saw some impressive things in practice with him. What's it like going from that to seeing Patrick Mahomes and sort of the things and the tricks and the sort of the experimentation that he can do with the throw that you don't necessarily see on a traditional quarterback?
Yeah, to answer your first question, vision-wise, I mean, I was told at an early age, might have been 6 or 7, the one thing you can't teach is eyes. And I can't sit here and say, oh, this is what makes me different, or this is what makes everybody every set of eyes sees things differently. So as far as what I see when I'm running the ball, the things that I see in a route, that's just kind of my mind doing its own thing and making its adjustments just off of leverage and understanding the concept of the play call. So for that's kind of that kind of answers that one. And then Joe did some things last year at practice that it just kind of makes you turn your head and shake your head, put your head down. Even being around K Falk and K Falk will sit and tell me like, man, that's some stuff that I've only seen Tom do. And when he's around Tom for 11 and a half, 12 years, and then like I had an interview yesterday and I was talking about Pat rolling out to his left. And I mean, the play just looked completely shut down. And he just started, by the time he got to the bottom of the numbers on the left hash, he just started saying, oh, I got it. And nobody looked open, and he tossed it up, and all of a sudden Tyreek came out of nowhere and completed a pass, and it went for 45 yards, whatever it was, and extended play, something that that you see time and time again. But for him to not throw it out of bounds and just understand, and his vision and everything that he has going on in his head, it's a little different. It's a little special.
Doing?
I'm all right.
Good. I was wondering if you could give us some idea of where you are with the physical part of the game after being out all year. And also, I was wondering whether you played against Clyde Edwards-Helaire when you were at Ole Miss, and if so, what you remember about him.
Right now, yeah, I'm back fully doing everything with everybody else. So I'm pretty much just out there like the rest of the guys. And also, I don't think I got a chance to play against Helaire. I played against Fournette, guys, Darrell Williams. So those are pretty much the running backs I saw.
Let's go to Breeland Moore. Go ahead, Breeland.
Breeland, nice to meet you. Just building off of Adam's question, how do you feel out there, and are you finding any challenges because you were away for so long, and then on top of that, you also lost the spring?
I'm feeling pretty good out here, just trying to get back adjusted to the game. Like you hit on, I've been away from the game for about a year now. So just trying to get reacclimated to all of the things, get those little small keys down, just trying to work on being a better player right now, making sure I got the calls and everything is done the right way.
Let's go to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Breeland, how much urgency is there to take a step forward this year with the way last year obviously you set it out? I mean, how much urgency are you feeling in camp right now?
Not so much urgency, just want to get back and do everything the right way. Make sure I, like I said, hit on just making sure I got the calls and stuff down. I feel like playing the game and with time, all of that is going to start coming back to me. So right now it's not more so of an urgent thing, just more so of a just learning thing and taking things as they go.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Breeland, thanks for taking some time with us. I was curious for your conversations as you return here with Brendan Daly, and he seems like a very intense guy, very engaged with all you guys. I was wondering what he's challenged you with this training camp and how those conversations have gone.
They've been good. Just basically just come to work every day. Make sure you're doing the things you need to do. Make sure you got the playbook down. Not too much, not too much extra stuff. Just making sure he wants me to be the player that he knows I can be and just go on and progress.
Go ahead, Nick Jacobs.
Yep. Breeland, for you, I'm curious, what is it that you want to go out there and improve this year? Because I know at camp last year you were having a good camp. You were bull rushing really well. But for you now, what do you want to prove on the football field this fall?
Like I was saying before, just right now, I just want to make sure I got the calls and stuff down and just want to make sure, I'm doing things and getting my small reads. I just want to be a better football player right now. That's the urgency I have right now.
5 minutes. Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Good to see you, Breeland. I just wondered, since this is your first major injury as a professional, what you learned about yourself, not being a part of the game, not being a part of the team all of last year. And secondly, as you trained and got ready for this next opportunity, did you change your training regimen? Just kind of walk us through the steps of what your rehab looked like and what you wanted to get most out of training before you arrived for training camp.
Okay, yeah. So basically just can you repeat your first question?
Yeah, sorry about that. Because this was your first major injury, just what did you learn about yourself not being in the game?
This is actually my first major injury ever. I just learned a lot about myself. Of course, you know, guys go through different things. It was just a constant build back to want to get back. Yeah, it was my first time being hurt. So, of course, it hurt not being out there with the guys, not being in the locker room with the fellas, not being able to chop it up with everyone. And that just motivated me to want to work harder and get back in this off season. I basically went back to doing what I used to do. I got with my old trainer from like 7th grade, and we basically hit it like we used to back then, and basically wind up losing a lot of weight from it. So I say I had a pretty good off season.
Let's go to Seren Petra. Go ahead, Seren.
Breeland, can you take us back through like when they said, "Hey, play linebacker," right? Like when you came in and you had to be a stand-up linebacker, and then getting the news that you were going to go back to what, at least for as an outsider, seemed like a more familiar position. And I'm curious, is there anything you took away from that time, you know, playing outside and playing linebacker and having those responsibilities that you think is going to help you with your hand back on the ground?
I think all in all, they're one and the same. And basically, you know, just, you know, we have drops in the 4-3 just like we have drops in the 3-4. So it's all the same. Just make, like I was talking about earlier, that time and getting my timing back right as far as coming off the edge. I know outside backer helped me a lot with that. So just probably going back to those things from my rookie year as far as pass rush is concerned. And yeah, I say playing outside backer is helping a lot for what I'm doing right now.
Let's go to the final two. We'll go Darren and Sam. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Breeland, quick question for you. Obviously, with you setting out the year last year, this will be your first time back. I believe you still get a Super Bowl ring. But with that being said, one, did you get a chance to kind of talk with Chris Jones and some of your defensive players that kind of get you in the right mind frame, you know, during this time that you were out? And then also, how motivated are you to perform at a high level to feel like you are contributing this year to the team's success?
Yeah, I talked to a lot of the guys, Frank, Chris, you know, they were just motivating me, telling me we need you back. Whenever you get back, we're going to be here, you know. It was just real good. I'm just happy they did that for me. And also this year, yeah, I got a big urgency to want to get back and want to be a part. Like you said, I got a ring, but kind of don't feel like I was a part, but I am. But now it's kind of like a thing where I just want to go out there and put my little 2 cents in, I guess.
Let's go to Sam for the last one. Go ahead, Sam.
Breeland, just wanted to follow up on something you said, which was the trainer that you've had since 2nd grade. Is that somebody you've consistently been seeing, or did something prompt you to want to go back to that guy? And what exactly did you guys do this offseason to lose the weight?
We ran a lot, and it's 7th grade, not 2nd. But yeah, that's basically what we did. We ran a lot, did a lot of tour days. Just changed up the mindset this off season. Just went back to, I guess, you know, what got me right in the beginning, or what I've been used to growing up, which I know works. I just went back to that, you know, and and it helped a lot.